Good morning, everybody. We'll start off with our safety disclaimer the way we always do. These classes and what I say are not medical advice. Please consult with your healthcare professionals before making changes to manage your health. This presentation does not represent Parkinson Canada's endorsement of products or treatment related to Parkinson's disease. This presentation is meant to provide general information. If you have specific questions about managing Parkinson's disease for yourself or for others, please contact info@parkinson.ca, or you can always call 1-800-565-3000. Well, good morning, everybody. This is your at-home workout class. My name is Lance Latane, and these classes are brought to you by Parkinson Canada. If you're new to this class, great to have you on board. If you're a veteran of these classes, I want to thank you for your patronage. So these live classes are held every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 8 o'clock a.m. Central. That's 9 o'clock a.m. in Eastern Canada. That's 10 o'clock a.m. in Atlantic, and in Saskatchewan and Alberta, that's putting us at 7 o'clock in the morning. And in beautiful British Columbia, that's 6 o'clock in the morning. Rise and shine, everybody in BC. So yes, these classes are a part of the Parkinson Canada Super Walk Monthly Movement Challenge. And yes, we are in the month of September, and that means Super Walk is just days away. We have the opening ceremonies for this year's Super Walk are going to be broadcast, and they're going to be broadcast live on the Parkinson Canada YouTube channel, the Parkinson Canada Super Walk website, and that website address is www.superwalk.ca. And you can also watch us on the Facebook platform. You don't need a Facebook membership in order to watch the opening ceremonies. The opening ceremonies can be found on the Parkinson Canada Facebook main page. So yes, the opening ceremony is going to be this Saturday. It's just like days away. And it's going to be at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. That's 10 o'clock here in Manitoba, 9 o'clock in Saskatchewan and Alberta, 8 o'clock in BC, and of course in Atlantic Canada, that'll be at 12 noon. Yes, this year's host is Larry Gifford. Yes, the same host as When Life Gives You Parkinson's podcast. I know Larry's going to do a great job. He's a really upbeat individual, very funny, and he'll do a fantastic job with our opening ceremonies. So with this year's Super Walk, it is a virtual event, so we are encouraging you to continue on with your fundraising and to mail all those all your pledge forms and checks into the Toronto office. And so yes, with the current coronavirus pandemic that we're living through, we're just trying to minimize a contact and getting together as larger groups. I'd love, if you're doing the Super Walk this year, to take some pictures and some videos, and if you could share that with us here at Parkinson Canada. I would love to see who you're with and where you're at, and to see how you celebrated the Parkinson Canada Super Walk. And then we can share that with our Parkinson community that ties us all in together. Okay, so a few shout outs here. I want to kind of go over. Good morning, Audrey. Great to see you. Our top fundraisers so far for the Super Walk. So for our top fundraisers individuals, we have Julie Wood at number 10. We have Santha Krishnamurthy. She is number 9. Margot Friedman is at number 8, and Kenny Beard is at number 7. Earl Conway is at number 6. Kevin Farmer is at number 5. So 10 through 5, you guys are pretty close. We got a good challenge going on here. Let's see if Julie at number 10 can get all the way up to number 5. Then we have Jeff Potts at number 4, Ted Higgins at number 3, Ralph Richardson at number 2, and at number 1, he's holding strong, not by much though, we have Don Tallman. Great job, Don. Well, as for the top teams, we have number 10 at Rokies Rockets, number 9, Team Earl, number 8, Team Bacchus, and number 7, we have the Peterborough Movers and Shakers, and number 6, Pour Papa. Number 5, Motivated Movers. And then number 4, Mississauga Wilkinson Warriors. I love that name. Number 3, Team Beard. Number 2, Farmer Family. And at number 1, Boxing for Health. Boxing for Health has raised $88,823.14. Holy moly, Boxing for Health. That is just absolutely fantastic. Okay, so I'll touch base with some of the benefits here. Just thinking that, Parkinson's disease, it is a progressive disease that does affect the nerve cells in your body. And with it being progressive, unfortunately it's gonna grow. The symptoms are gonna get more extreme. But that doesn't mean that we, if for those of you that have Parkinson's disease, can't slow down the effects of Parkinson's disease. And that got me to thinking about this today in Manitoba is the first day of school for a lot of kids, and got me thinking about learning. And that's the key, is that through learning, through growth and development, through exercise, it can really make a difference in your musculoskeletal system, which is connected, of course, with your nervous system. So we can slow down that progression. But then there's also the progression of our cognition. And it got me thinking about it being the first day of school and cognition being so important, that after exercise, there is, it's called BDNF. It's called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It's almost like a miracle grow for the brain. So after you're done exercising, if you could try and do something new, if you could try, it could be something, if you're on your iPad, instead of using your right hand to scroll through things, just try using your left hand throughout the entire day, just to see if it's making any sort of difference. It's that learning and growth, simple things like that do make a difference, that does slow down the progression of the disease itself. The same could be with through exercise, trying to do something that maybe you haven't done for a while. After all the kids have gone off to school, maybe just pop into the playground and just see if you could sit on the swing and try swinging back and forth. Just trying something new and learning. I think that's key. Not only will you get the benefits from it, but it's a lot of fun too. All right, gang, so let's get moving here. It's cold outside, so I'm doing it classes from my basement office. Adjust my camera a little bit. There we go. Hopefully you can see my feet. Okay, so you know how we start off our classes. We start off our classes the same way every single time. We start off by closing our eyes, sitting up nice and straight. Let's pull our shoulders back. Okay, closing our eyes. We're going to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. One more time, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Keeping our eyes closed, focusing on the here, focusing on the now, feeling alive, feeling ready, making a difference already in your day. Opening our eyes, we're going to raise our hands above our head and breathe in and out. Big breath in and out. Last one, big breath in, holding your breath when you get to the top. And out. All right. Okay, so you know what's coming up next. We're going to do our slap, clap, and snap. So we are slapping our thighs 5 times, clapping our hands 5 times, and then snapping our fingers 5 times. We're going from 5 down to 1 and all the way back to 5. Ready, gang? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, all right, good stuff. Okay, so part of our warm-up is to get our body and our mind ready for exercise here. I'm just going to make a quick adjustment here. Hopefully that makes a little bit of a difference in the light. Yeah, it seems to make just a little bit of a difference. Okay, so we're going to start off with some swimming. Let's do the front crawl first. So you're bringing your arms forward. So nice rotation in the shoulders. I know some of you that have some shoulder issues. It's hard for you to do this. So if you find it hard to bring your arms all the way around, you can just bring it to the side. That works for me too. Or you could just do one arm over and over again. How was your Labor Day long weekend? I hope it was good. Went golfing yesterday for the first time this summer. Had a great time. Sure eats up a lot of time though. I had a lot of fun. All right, now we're going to swim backwards. One arm back, and the other arm back. It's okay if you hear a bit of creaking, a bit of popping. You don't want pain. Back and around. And around. One more time each arm and around. Last one. From here, we're going to do our breaststrokes. We're going to pull our arms down to the side. Bring our hands together. Shoot them out front. Down to the side. Hands together. And shoot it to the front. Okay, so there we go. Probably feel this in your shoulders now. And one more breaststroke here. Oh, yeah, that feels good. Okay, from here, we're just going to do our stationary heel taps. Again, let's think of our posture. Our posture does make a difference if your drooling is an issue for you. The straighter that you're sitting up or the straighter that you're standing up, the way gravity works, of course, it's going to go to the back of your throat. As if you're leaning forward, it's going to come out to the front. So let's just try and think of our posture. Tapping our heels. Let's get some smiles on our faces. Work on our Parkinson mask. So we're going to do our Parkinson smile. Great big exaggerated smile. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Changing feet, tapping the other heel. Tap, 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 tap. Of course, almost all the exercises that we're going to be doing today can be done from a seated or a standing position. If you can stand, I would encourage you to stand. That way we're working on our balance at the same time. But I would also make sure that you have a chair or you have something that you can hang on to in case you were to start feeling like you were going to fall. You have something to grab onto and help stabilize you. But if you have to sit down, that totally works for me. A lot of these exercises are actually more challenging to do from a seated position than a standing position. Tap, 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 tap. Okay, tapping our toes. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Changing our feet, tapping our toes. So are you going out for the Super Walk this year, or are you going to stay around your neighborhood? Who are you getting together with? Let me know in the comments here. Love to hear the stories of who you're with, where you're at. And like I said, if you could take any pictures or videos to share with us that ties in our Canadian Parkinson community. Brings us all together, one big collective voice. And it's kind of hard with this current corona pandemic that we're living through, because we do have to physically distance and socially isolate sometimes. Okay, from here we're going to do some shoulder shrugs. We're bringing your shoulders up and down. Oh, that feels good. Shoulders up and down. Shoulders up down, up, and down. Now we're going to roll our shoulders backwards. Again, you might hear a few creaks, a few pops. That's okay. We don't want pain though. If you are experiencing pain in any of these classes, by all means, I just encourage you to stop and do something else. Some other movement. Movement is key. That's what we're looking for. Now we're going to roll forwards. Or you could make some modifications. If it's one side of your body that's sore, then just do the other side. You don't have to do both sides. But if you can, that's great. Okay, from here, we're going to do some ankle rotations. We're just going to spin our foot around. And let's go the other way. And our other foot, go around. And the other way. Yes, first day of school. My twin boys are starting at a new school. They're transitioning from French immersion to just a straight English school. So they're going to be going to a school in our catchment. So it's right in our neighborhood, so it's great. They can actually walk to school. All right, gang. So that's it for a warm-up. Now would be a great time to grab a sip of water if you need to have a sip of water. For our weight class, for our strength training, you will, if you do have some cans of beans or cans of soup, you can use that, or hand weights or TheraBands or resistance tubing. By all means, you can grab that and put it to the side. If you don't have anything, that's okay. It's just ideal if you do. All right, so we're going to be transitioning into our cardio section here. So let's just start off with some heel taps. We're going to go nice and slow this morning. Heel tap and back. Tap and back. Of course, in the standing position is tap and back, tap and back. And if you do need to have a chair to hang on to, nobody knows. Your safety is first and foremost. That's the most important thing. So if you need to have a chair to hang on to, just grab it and use it. Tap and back, tap and back, tap and back, tap. We're going to try adding some bicep curls here. We're just going to do nice and slow to start off with. And back, tap and back, tap and back. And for those of you that need a little extra harder workout, you can bring your arms up higher like this and back. This is harder than having your arms down lower. Tap and back. And for those of you that have the coordination, you can go side with the arms and forward with the feet. Tap and back, tap and back. Everybody else, if you just want to do bicep curls underneath, that works for me. Tap and back, tap and back, tap and back. All right, so I don't know about you. I can feel my heart rate already getting faster. That's a good thing. That's what we're looking for. Good morning, Blair Sigurdsson. Great to see you. All right. And back. Tap. And back. Tap. And back. All right. So let's bring things up a little bit faster. Raise our heart rate just a little bit more. Tap. And back. Good morning, Blair. Tap. And back. Here we go. Tap. And back. Tap. And back. Tap. And back. Tap. And remember, if you need a harder workout, you bring your arms up higher. Tap and back. If you find it too hard to coordinate your arms and your legs at the same time, by all means, just do your legs, or you can just do your arms. Tap and back. Tap and back. Tap and back. Tap. Now we're going faster. Here we go. Tap and back and tap and back. Tap, back, tap, back. Tap and back and tap and back, tap, back, tap, back. Let's go a little bit faster yet. Back, tap, tap. Tap and back and tap and back. Back, tap, back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just our legs. All right, gang. Woo. All right, your heart rate's probably gotten up there. Your breathing rate's getting deeper and faster. That's all natural. That's okay. So it's going to be a bit of a roller coaster that we're on today. We're going to go fast at some sections and slower in others. But ideally in this cardio section, we're trying to keep our heart rate up there for about 15 to 20 minutes. And the intensity level that we're looking for is that it's going to take some work. You're going to have to put yourself out there. That's where the magic actually happens. So the talk test is maybe one of the best ways to gauge your intensity level. If you're able to do these exercises and talk a little bit, that's where you want to be at. But if you find that it's easy for you to talk, or that maybe you're able to sing and exercise at the same time, then you know you have to work out a little bit harder. Tap in, back in, tap in, back, tap, back, tap. Tap in, back in, tap in, back, tap, back, tap, back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slow it down. All right. So yes, the twins start school today. My daughter doesn't start school until tomorrow. They're doing a staggered start, and she's going to be in her cohort. So she goes to school in the 6-day cycle 2 days a week. So some weeks she'll only go to school 1 day a week. Other weeks she'll go 2 days a week. She's looking forward to seeing some of her friends. All right, so now we're going to do 2 times, then 3 times, then 4 times on one side. And then we're going to change it up. We won't add our arms in yet. We'll add our arms in on the count down, not the count up. So we're going to do 2 times per side. There's 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Think of your posture, sitting up nice and straight. 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and all right, so how about we transition into 3 times per side. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Here's 3. 1, 2, 3. Change it here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Change it here. 1, 2, and 3. 2. And now we're doing 4. 1, 2, 3, and 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 4. Let's add our arms. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're doing 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're doing 2. 1 and 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 alternate. 1 foot and the next. 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 No arms, just our legs. Whew! Are you feeling it, gang? I'm sure you are. Tap and tap. Tap and tap. Tap and tap. Tap and tap. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. March down. Woo-wee. Good job, guys. Were you able to keep up? I hope so. Again, this is not a competition nobody else can see. So do what you can. If you can follow along, that's great. If you need to take breaks, that totally works for me. March, march, march and march. March, 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 march. March, march, march and march. March, 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 march. Okay, so you know how we can make it a little bit more intense. We can either go faster, that's pace, or we can have larger movements. Or for those of you that are really advanced, if you can do larger movements with pace, good for you. So how about for now, let's just try and do slower, bigger marches. So it's going to look like this. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Of course, standing position is like this. Up and down, up and down, and whew, got a sweat going on here. Up and down, and down, and down, and down, and down. 4, 3, 2, and 1. March it out. Have an awesome day, Lance. Off for a bike ride. All right, Blair, right back at you. Yeah, Blair, he's been pounding the pavement with his bicycle all summer long. Got new wheels. Checking out the city. Getting out, learning. He's got growth and development. Fresh air is really good too. If you can take advantage of some hikes or some walks this year while it's beautiful in the fall, it's when you're having to learn how to navigate, trying to figure out where you got to go. Again, you're going to have some learning. You're going to have some growth. You're going to have some development. And that's what we're looking for. Challenging ourselves. We're never too old to learn. I know when I returned back to university, I was in my late 40s. I went and talked to my friend who was the dean of the Department of Kinesiology at the time. I said, you know what, Dave? I'm feeling pretty anxious. I'm thinking about returning back to school, but I'm wondering if I'm too old. He looked at me with a great big smile across his face. He said, Lance, you're never too old to learn. And I remember that. I carried that with me every single day. I was feeling pretty self-conscious, feeling a little anxious some days. And I always remember those words Dave told me, you're never too old to learn. March, 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 march. March, 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 march. Okay, so we're going to pick up the pace a little bit here before we slow things down, get into our cardio cool down. March, 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 march. Okay, we're going to go for a little bit of a run, gang. Are you ready? Here, ready to go. March, 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 and march. March, 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 march. March, 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 and march. You're probably feeling your heart rate up there. That's okay. That's what we're looking for. We want to raise our heart rate up there. We want our breathing rate to get deeper, a little bit faster. You are the only person who can gauge how you're feeling. So if it's too much for you, you can slow down by all means. March, 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 and march. March, 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 march. March, 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 and march. March, 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 march. Of course, that's where the magic happens. We do have to challenge ourselves. So it's nice to exercise. It's great to move, but we do have to have that learning, that growth and development, working our musculoskeletal systems, working with our nervous system. We're trying to get that dopamine. We're trying to have more muscle cells being built or being produced, not built, but being produced. And when we get that, we're going to have, the theory is you're going to have more dopamine made available, and that our body is going to start using that dopamine more efficiently. So it's going to be receiving the dopamine, the signal that's being sent through the synapse there. All right, marching along. March, 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 and march. March, 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 march. We're going to slow things down in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, gang. Whew. That was one workout for you. All right, good for you if you're to keep up. So we're going to slow things down as we get older. It gets tougher for our heart rate to get where we want it to be, but it also takes time to slow things down. So this is our cardio cool down. It's really important that we make time to bring our heart rate down, bring our breathing rate down, keeping our head held high. So all of our big muscles that have been exercising, they've been consuming a lot of the oxygen, a lot of the blood-rich, oxygen-rich blood. So now we're going to want to distribute all that blood to different parts of our body, to our fingers, our hands, to our feet and our toes. Most importantly, we want that blood, that oxygenated blood going to our brain. All right, no arms, just our legs. March, march, march and march. March, 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 march. Even slower now. March, march, march and march. March, 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 march. All right, from here we're going to do some heel taps. Heel tap and back. Tap and back. Even slower. Tap and back. Tap and back. Tap and back, tap and back, tap and back, tap. Now we're going to put toe taps to the side and back, side and back, side and back, and back. Let's add some arms and back, side and back, and back. Now just our arms. From one side to the next. One side and the other. One side and the other. Now we're just going to do one arm only. Again, trying to bring our heart rate down slowly and gradually. And other arm now. That feels great. And we're going to bring our arms to the front, shoulder height, and back, shoulder height, and back, up and down, up and down. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now we're just going to do some waving. We're going to wave with one hand. Again, we're trying to bring our heart rate down, bring our breathing rate back to more of a resting breathing rate. Waving one hand, then the other. In exercise, we're trying to get some balance. So what we do to one side, we do to the other. If we work on the muscles in the front of our body, we also like to try and spend some muscles on the back side of our body. Okay, we're going to transition into some stationary heel taps. Just tapping our heels. Tap, 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 and tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 and tap. Tap, 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 tap. Other heel. Tap, 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 and tap. Tap, 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 tap. Okay, I want you to sit up nice and straight. Let's think of our posture. We're pulling our shoulders back. Well, I'm just going to ask you, we're going to do some breathing. You can either have your eyes open or closed. If you are standing and you're going to be standing with your eyes closed, I would just try and make sure you have something to hang on to help stabilize you. For everybody else, is sitting down. You can close your eyes or keep them open. We're going to breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. One more time, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Hey, all right. That's it for our cardio warm up, our cardio and our cardio cool down. We are now going to transition into our strength training. So if you do have cans of soup or cans of beans or cans of peas, by all means you can use those for hand weights. If you have proper hand weights, you can use those. If you don't have anything at all, that's okay. You don't need anything because we try and do everything very slow and very purposeful, and you'll still get the benefit from following these exercises. Good morning, Lois. Hey, you actually made it this morning. Great to see you, Lois. All right, Lois, Camila. All right, gang. So I have graduated up to, I'm using some cans of soup or cans of tomatoes. I have green tomatoes here, whole tomatillos, and I've got some Italian tomatoes here. All right, so we're going to start off with doing some bicep curls. So the biceps are the front, these muscles right here. These are the biggest muscles in our arms, and they're used for lifting. So you just think of like lifting those grocery bags, or you're lifting your grandchildren, or anything to do with lifting at all. It might be raking leaves and you got to lift that bag of leaves. These are the muscles that we're going to be working on. So I would like you to have your elbows nice and tight to your body. Your palms are facing forward. Let's think of our posture. Nice and straight, shoulders back. We're going to be going up for a 3 count. 1, 2, 3. And down. 2, 3. I know I got such a nice message from Camila earlier on last week. My colleague Alan Muir passed it along to me. Made me feel really great to hear from you, Camila. Up and down. Up and down. 2 more. Up, 2, 3. And down. 2, 3. Last one. Up, 2, 3. And down. 2, 3. From here, we're going to do some straight arm lifts. So I've got the cans hanging between my legs here. My palms are facing towards my body. I'm just going to be bringing the can straight up to shoulder height and down. Strength training is a fantastic activity for you to be doing if you do have Parkinson's disease, because we're going to be creating more muscle fibers. Again, doing it nice and slow, very purposeful. You have more muscle fibers being generated. It does get harder to get much more as we get older, but it can still happen. It's much safer to do everything nice and slow too. And down. Always thinking of your technique. 2 more. Up and down. Last one. Up and down. Now we're going to be doing our bicep curls. We're going to do 6 more. If you can only do 1 or 2, that's fine. That works for me. Do as many as you can do, as you can manage. If you can do 6, that's great. Again, thinking of our posture, sitting up nice and straight, going up, 2, 3, and down, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, and down, 2, 3, up, and down. Let's breathe out and in. And in. 2 more. Breathe in. Last one. And in. Okay, now we're going to do the straight arm raise. I'm going to do it from a standing position. You can stay sitting down if you want. Going up and down. There's 1. Here's 2. And down. 3. And down. Here's 4. And down. 5. And down. 6. And down. All right. I'm just going to put my cans of tomatoes to the side now because I don't want it to be a tripping hazard for myself. Okay, so there's no way around it, Gag. You know how important it is for us to work on our quadriceps. So our quadriceps are the big muscles at the front of our legs here. So best thing that we could be doing for that are sit to stand. So you can either do sit to stands or squats. I'll show you what a squat looks like just in case of you don't know what I'm talking about. A squat, I'm going to be hanging onto a chair. We're going to do sit to stands, but I'm just going to demonstrate the squat. So I have my feet wider than my shoulders. I'm just basically going down until my legs are at a 90-degree angle here. So I see how I shoot my, watch, I'll shoot my butt. I'm not leaning forward. I'm shooting my butt out and up again. So that's working on our quadriceps, also working on our butt. So our glutes and our hamstrings are also involved with that movement. From a seated position, it'll be pretty much the exact same thing, except of me standing up, I'm sitting down. So again, feet are wider than your shoulders. If you need to use the armrest on your chair, you can use that. If you don't have to, ideally try not to use them. So see how I'm at a 90-degree angle? I'm standing up, and sitting down. I'm shooting my butt to the back. Here's 2. And down again, very slow, very purposeful. If you can only stand up an inch, by all means, that totally works for me. The hardest part of anything is always the starting. Anything that you're going to be doing. So the starting is just an inch, that's the toughest part. At least you've started. You've done the hard thing. You got that out of the way. And down, one more. Up. Sitting down. Okay, from here, we're going to do some knee raises and extensions. Again, thinking of my posture. I'll demonstrate standing up, then I'm going to do them sitting down. From a standing position, hanging onto a chair, I'm raising my knee up, swing my leg out, back, and down. And of course, it is the exact same thing from a seated position. It's actually even tougher to do this from the seated position. We're going to be raising my knee up, out, back, and down. Other leg up, out, back, and down. Changing legs, up, out, back, and down, up, out, back, and down. 2 more each leg, up, out, back, and down, up, out, back, and down. Last time, each leg, up, out, back, and down. Last one, up, out, back, and down. All right, we're going to try 6 more sit to stands. If you can only do 1, you can only do 1. But if you can do 6, that's great. Again, just try to remember to have your feet nice and wide, wider than your shoulders. It just helps distribute your weight over a larger area, so it's going to help with your balance. So that's the big thing that we're looking for. Again, thinking of our posture, sitting up nice and straight. It's going to be our legs that we want to do all the work. Up and down, shoot your bum out. Here's 2. And down, here's 3. Up, halfway there. And here's 4. And 5. 1 more, last one, here's 6. Whew. Okay, we're going to do our knee raises and extensions. Up, out, back, and down. This is hard work. Up, out, back, and down. Up, out, back, and down. Up, out, back, and down again. Remember, trying to do everything nice and slow, very purposeful, nice and safe. Up, out, back. Much more benefit doing it slowly. Out, back, Now thinking of our posture, up, out, back, and then one more time, each side, gang, up, out, back, and down, up, out, back, and down. All right, we're going to finish things off with our Kegel exercises. So remember, it's that muscle that we're thinking about that kind of stops your flow of urine when you're going to the bathroom. So it's kind of the base of your abdominal wall. You're going to kind of be lifting it up and pulling it back. So you're trying to keep it nice and tight. I know a lot of people have been sitting down for their job for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, and our backs get really sore from sitting down so much. It's because our abdominal region isn't really being engaged that much. So if we try and engage with our abdominal region, it's going to help both not only with our posture, but also with our any sort of back pain that you're having. But it's also going to help with when we are going to the bathroom. We're trying to keep everything nice and tight, nice and strong. So for some people, it does help to close your eyes. For those of you that want to close your eyes, you can do that. Let's just think of our posture. I'm going to you're going to pull your abdominal muscles up and back. Hold it nice and tight, engage. Keep it nice and tight. Hold it there and relax. Aging. The joys of aging, isn't it? Keep it nice and tight. We're like an old vintage car. Our back ends begin to droop and sag, and fluids begin to leak. And relax. Okay, keep it nice and tight. Hold it up. That's all natural. Nothing to be embarrassed about. It's just the way it is. And relax. Engage. Yeah, kind of lifting your abdominal wall up. Keeping it nice and tight. And relax. Let's do one more for good health, gang. One more for good health. Engage. Hold it. There you go. And relax. Woo! So we just finished our strength training. We're now going to work on our balance. So for those of you that are sitting down for most of the day, we can still work on your balance. We're going to do some leaning forward. So what I'm going to ask you to do is move your butt towards the end of your chair. You're going to have your feet on the ground. You're going to keep them nice and wide. We're going to try and get a lot of the body weight, or upper body weight, on the balls of our feet. So not our toes, but just behind the toes. I want you to lean forward, keeping your head held high. There is balance involved with this. You know what I'm talking about. Leaning forward and back. And again, it really does make a difference if you're keeping your abdominal region nice and tight and you're thinking about your posture. Leaning forward, head held high, get some smiles on our face, work on that mask. And back. We're going to do two more, gang. Leaning forward, holding it there, and back. One more. Leaning forward, and back. All right, so now for these next balance exercises, I'm going to ask you to stand up, but if you can have a chair to hang on to, by all means, have one nearby, or you can always put your hand along a wall. Just make sure that it's going to provide you that support that you might need. We're going to do our one-legged stand, so you can either raise your knee up in front or just dangle your foot behind it, but we're trying to stand on one leg. So our brain is talking to the one side of your body. So you're making all the little micro adjustments in your hips, your upper body, and your knees and your ankles to try and keep you upright here. So the more that we work at this, more frequently we work at this, the better our body's going to respond to potential falls. So if you're ever off balance, your body's got that, your body and brain has that memory to make those little micro adjustments to keep you upright. Both feet on the ground, raising your other leg, hanging on to a chair. and down. This time, I'm just going to stick my arms out. It does make a difference. It does help distribute your body weight over a larger area, as opposed to being focused just on that one leg. Hanging onto the chair. And down. Same thing. Other leg. And down. Now we're going to shift our weight to this side. So I'm just going to shift my weight and keeping my foot, both feet are on the ground. I just got on my toes for my one foot. Let's think of our posture. Posture does make a difference in your balance. I'm going to shift my weight to the other foot. Again, if we work at this frequently, that's good. That's what we're looking for. Back to the other side. This time I'm actually going to lift my foot off the ground. I am hanging onto a chair. You can lift your foot off the ground only if you feel comfortable. And down. So my hips making some little tiny adjustments and movements, along with my knees and ankles, my upper body, even my head. My head kind of starts tilting to one side to try and keep my center of gravity over that one foot. Okay, we're going to finish things off with walking on a line. So just to pretend that you have an imaginary line in front of you, and you're going to put one foot in front of the other. This is more challenging than it sounds. All the way. All right, now let's go back. Should we try that one more time, gang? All right, let's give it a go. Going forward. And now we're going back. Oops. Hit my chair. All right, so now we're going to transition into some stretching. I would encourage you to spend some time stretching every day. It really does make a difference in being able to manage your pain. You know, for those of you that are living with dystopia, you know what I'm talking about. Your muscles get really tight, and that becomes painful. You start getting cramps. So by stretching our muscles, by elongating our muscles, it's going to help manage the pain. Ideally, we want to hold every stretch for about 30 seconds minimum in duration. But for the purpose of this class, of course, I've got to make it a little bit shorter. So we're kind of demonstrating the way you can be doing things nice and safely. All right, so the first thing that we're going to work on is we're going to do our hamstring stretches. So our hamstrings are on the back side, top part of our leg. I'm going to ask you to sit up nice and straight, shoulders back, sticking one leg out. We're going to lean forward in our chair. You should feel the stretch along the back side of your leg. Oh, that feels so, so good. Head held high. Remember, on your own, try and hold each stretch for about 30 seconds. If you can hold it for longer than 30 seconds, that's ideal. It does take a while for your brain to receive the signals from your muscles and to send the signal back to your muscles saying, you know what, I know what's going on. You can push a little bit further. Other leg, leaning forward. Head held high, continuing to breathe. Holding it, yeah, you'll feel that stretch along the back side, top part of your leg. Okay, from there, we're going to stretch out our calves, and this can be done from a sitting position as well. So you can stick out one leg if you want, or if you want to stick out both legs, you can do that. So you stick out both legs, and all I'm going to ask you to do is to bring your toes towards your body. Hold that stretch, and ideally, again, we want to hold it for about 30 seconds. So if you are living with cramps, that really does hurt. That sucks. But I would suggest to you that You're gonna need to drink a lot of water. That does make a difference. And having some electrolytes in the water does make a difference. And for other people, having potassium. So you can find high levels of potassium in yams, like sweet potatoes, bananas, potatoes themselves. Oh, that feels good. And relax, pointing your toes away from you. We're going to bring our toes back towards our body. Let's think of our posture. And back. Okay, I'm going to face the camera now. We are going to stretch out our wrists and our forearms. I know these get really tight. So I'm going to ask you to stick out one arm, about shoulder height. You're going to pull back gently on your fingers. So you should feel a stretch along your forearms. Let's hold it there. And we're going to flex down, pulling back on your fingers this way. For those of you that have carpal tunnel syndrome, you know the pain of that syndrome. This is probably an exercise that your physiotherapist or your occupational therapist may have suggested that you do. Changing our hands, pulling back on our fingers. Pulling back this way. So yes, we're just days away from the super walk. I was taking a look at the forecast. It looks pretty good here in Winnipeg. Some good walking weather. Probably have to bundle up a little bit, but not too bad. Okay, so now we're going to work on our Parkinson's specific exercises, gang. Okay, the first thing that we are going to do, we're going to do our tongue exercises. So I'm going to ask you to stick your tongue out and down. Tongue back in. Now we're going to go out and up. We're going to go out and to that side. Now out and to that side. Now let's work on our big smile, our Parkinson's smile. That mask, you hear oftentimes you hear about the Parkinson mask. Well, this is a great way. Our muscles are just so tight, even the tiny little muscles in our face. I know it's a fake smile, but it's good for us to do. Or open our mouth as wide as you can. These are the muscles associated with chewing our own food. Nice and wide. Great big smile again. Opening up nice and wide. And smile. Now let's work on we're going to work on our alphabet. So we're going to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. All right, we're going to finish things off with our side cheek stretch. So I'm going to ask you to place the palm of your hand along the side of your face. You're going to pull the side of your mouth back and up. So other than working on our posture, which makes a difference in our drooling, if you have that, keeping the muscles around our mouth nice and loose is absolutely key. Now we're going to do the other side. To the side and up. That's it. We finished our Tuesday class, so our next class is going to be on Thursday morning. I look forward to seeing everybody. And don't forget, it's still about 4 or 5 days before the Super Walk itself. So if you want to continue fundraising, by all means, that'd be very, very grateful if you were able to do so. All the money that's raised for the Parkinson Canada Super Walks does make a difference in the programming that Parkinson Canada offers you. That's everything from offering support groups for yourself if you're living with Parkinson's disease and or caregivers. We also put a lot of money towards research because we want to find a cure to Parkinson's disease. All right, okay, so until I see you on Thursday morning, have a great day. Don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions at all related to exercise and Parkinson's disease and or the Super Walk. All right, I'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.